would be around $250 to $300 a night. Who would want that property? Come on, $250 a night. That's 80% occupancy in that area. Right? If you just rent it normally, you will still get 400 plus. The second property is an absolutely steal. We bought that property. I want to show you a little bit more details about that property. This is the property we bought for $312,000, with stamp duty, all the expenses, and renovating it, bringing it to the level that we could. We went $408,000 that we spent. The gross income on that property is $43,000. This is FY22 numbers of the client that he has given me to present, and that's a 13.8% yield. Expenses are $22,000, but you're walking away with a net passive income of $21,000 before tax on a $400K property. Who would want that? This gentleman is from IT background, and he came for strategy. I told him, don't go for the strategy right now. You are on a very high income. It's not going to help you. He said, no, I'm going to leave my IT job. Finally, at some point in time, so I need to build income on the side. Now, by the time we got the property and got the strategy going, and it stabilized to this income, was about 2 years since that conversation happened. And he got promoted in between that. He loves his job. Now, for the very first time, he's paid ATO, $8,000 on this income from his pocket. Right? Has anyone paid to ATO for the investment properties from the pocket? Right? This guy did. Right? And he's in IT at a 38% tax bracket. So, good problem to have. Yes or no? Right? So, that's the thing you want to buy. That's the stuff you want to turn around for yourself. If you just did a normal standard buying and just put a normal rent on that, you would probably get $350 on that per week, as opposed to $850 per week. Does that make sense? It's all about challenging the stuff. How many properties do you need to make 100K passive income like that? 5. Thank you. And what would be the portfolio value? 2 million? How many can you buy in Sydney for 2 million? With that income? Is this different? Is this different? Yes or no? I am showing you real results and recent results. It's not mocked up stories. Okay, so these are subdivision projects, so I won't go too much into it, but you get the idea what I've been trying to say to you. That's just one property on a 1,300 square meter block, $420,000 property. Now, it's already June. In the front, we've got 2 rents coming from the property, $600 a week. And at the back, there is a big block. I can do whatever I want on that. I can build a rooming house. Anyone attended the session about rooming houses? Right? How much did you buy the rooming house for? $1 million or 1.5? 900K? Right? What about this one then? You can buy the one we showed previously is also running rooming, the 21,000 income that you're getting, but you're doing it on established properties as opposed to buying $1 million brand new property and going through the build. Right? It's just basically where the value lies. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just sort of talking about how much money you need to get the same return. Because the return on $1 million building a rooming house versus converting it on established property is nearly the same. But you're spending a lot more money in terms of buying that property, almost double. So just take a conscious effort on that. But that's a dual occupancy already running. I can renovate the property. I can put it on Airbnb because there is a Chinese museum 2 houses down the road. Like, you think that's going to run on Airbnb? The Chinese museum nearby? Absolutely, right? So that's and that property has gone up 7%. The acquisition for this was done around November last year. So I can probably run 10 strategies on one property. That's a portfolio with just 2 properties for a client, gone up 200K in just 2 years. One property was bought in COVID, the right-hand side one, that's gone up 38% in growth in 2 years. The one on the left is a dual occupancy. That has gone up 22% in last 1 year. We bought that in July, and now we are in June. So it's nearly 12 months, and that's gone up now 22%. Who would want that in this market, 22% growth, with that sort of cash flow, right? So think of this differently because, guys, I mean, land house packages, apartments, townhouses is not going to get you to your early retirement. Did you learn anything new today? Yes. We did. The house is full. That's good. Now look, it's a $11 trillion market. It's not going to fail, right? It is too big to fail. Everyone is very well invested into it, right from all levels of government. Whatever whatever is going on, the drama that's going on with RBI and inflation and everything is all going to come to settle down some point in time in 12 months or so. But we are not worried because markets we are buying in, we are absolutely seeing the growth. Employment is all-time high. Property is the biggest employer in the country, so you can't go wrong with that. This is just the data from previous months, so you can see not all markets perform the same way. The last 12 months versus 3 months and past months, we're already starting to see properties going back into green with many areas, even in capital cities as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. Now, this is a good chart to know over the last 50 years. The last 50 years have had a ride of inflation up and down. The green line is the growth of the actual property market at Australia level. So what you're seeing there is that from 1980, the interest rates were around 10% to 17%, and the inflation was around 5% to 11%. But the market doubled 160%, right? So you're not going to go wrong when we are experiencing this right now, because for many of you, it's probably the first time. I was here when interest rates were going up back in 2003 and 4, and the market just sort of went almost, gangbusters, because we had a lot of migration happen between 2004 to 2010, and it is really the migration that's driving everything. It is a lifeblood for property, and with low stock levels, we are not going to get this wrong. So, who is ready to buy a property under half a million? Show your hands up. I want to see you guys on booth number 8, okay, and talk to one of my team members. We are offering a 15% off on our service fee. We don't usually do this. It is an end of financial year. We normally charge 14,000 plus GST for buying properties under $1 million. It's a fixed fee, but special only for today. We're doing it for 11,000 plus GST for you guys. Sydney side, I love Sydney, right? So please come and see us at booth 8. I want to talk to you more. Thank you very much. Any questions? No questions? All answered. Yes.
If we subject this COVID times, has regional actually done well?
Absolutely. That's why I showed you a property which went up 22% for the fuel occupancy.
That's the thing, like, before 2020, was it really good?
No, so see, you have to understand now. If you go back and look at historical charts of regional, you're not going to be convinced that regional is a market, right? Because what's happening now and how governments are looking at building regionals is completely different to what they did 10 years ago. I'll just give a very simple example. Queensland was always going to be a retirement heaven for people. You would go move into Queensland after your 50s, but that's not happening anymore because governments have really changed it. They cannot just have retirees over there. Who's going to run the economy, right? So the government plans have changed. There's about $350 billion of infrastructure going on in the ground, which has been approved infrastructure all over Australia. And this is some of the big regional areas that are not going to fail. In fact, they're promoting, and Labour government, this Labour government in New South Wales, right? They love regional, right? And so is Victoria, and so is other states. I know even in Queensland, Queensland is a different market because over there it doesn't matter regional or not, because they are so big cities and they are so wide distributed that it doesn't matter if you are in northern part of Queensland or southwest part of Queensland, because Brisbane had floods, right? It had no impact on Cairns for that matter, or Gold Coast for that matter, right? But Gold Coast is regional as well, right? So you have to understand the difference between really what's rural and regional, and a lot of people get confused with that. I hope I answered your question. Anyone else? No questions? Awesome. Yes.
Are there any challenges in converting existing properties into quality income properties like the waste?
Trades is the only challenge right now.
Legal wise or
No. So we have the team who does everything. Of course, it's not part of the business. Our job is to find the right property, and we hand you over to somebody who will do the conversion for you. Right. But trades is definitely an issue. Projects are taking a lot longer, so that's the only thing that's yeah, so it's an end-to-end investment and service. So we buy your property at the end of it, we'll strategize it for you. We will go look for the right property, negotiate it for you, give you the entire team, right from accountants to brokers, to finding the to name set in that area, also been technically a test done, like finally getting a property manager who will then rent the property to you as well, kindly, negotiate their fees, and then they review your portfolio on a yearly basis. Right, so it's a hand-holding game with completely an armchair service with you making decisions, yes or no, once we are on your side for your entire journey. Yes, it doesn't have to be capital city, but they have city. The definition is getting, that's what I was trying to answer at the back as well. The definition of city is changing. Parramatta, 15 years ago, was not a CBD main area. It is now. Right? So definitions are changing because governments have realized we don't want to keep clogging up our CBD areas. We need to build satellite cities. It's like Ant Lake and the Yoke. If I build those Yoke in different areas, I can have that mini cities everywhere where people don't have to travel more than 15 minutes for their day-to-day living. And that's exactly the plan of expansion. Because this 700,000 people cannot fit in CBD. Does that make sense? Alright, I think the time is up, but if you have any more questions, please come to our booth number 8. I will see you there. Thank you very much.